Good evening, and welcome to Superfed TV presents REBBL REL action covering Divisions 1 through 3. I'm your host, Superfed TV, and this is week 1. However, it is the second time I will be doing a recap of week 1. Reason for that being Twitch technical issues, apparently. They did not save my recap, so therefore I was unable to upload that to YouTube. Little disappointed about it. This one will not be live, so there will not be answering questions in the chat. Those of you that were there for it, I appreciate it. You guys got to see something that no one else gets to see, apparently. So, yeah, that's the thing. Also, Rumblebee will not be joining me on this as well. Yesterday he was at a Whitesnake concert. Today he's got, I believe, a family function. So, yeah, that was right, a Whitesnake concert. That is it for the intro. Let's go ahead and actually just jump into this. And I haven't done Division intro videos yet, but I am working on them at some point. So, hop into the action, starting off with Division 3. What happened week 1? We will cover the teams and take a look at results. Week 1, Mutants in Human Clothing. Lost 0-1 against the Grungy Desserts. This match was streamed, I believe. Stouticus got the win here, and there were, some removals on both sides, and actually an even number of blocks. For the amount of blocks that were in this game, removal numbers, lots of KOs, but pretty big numbers, so I'm guessing there was some fouling going on there as well. And Unibard had to feel a little confident going against this Nurgle team that didn't have a ton of tackle or as much dodge as the Underworld has, but unable to walk away with this one here. Moving on, Rebellious Scions lost 1-3 to the Pantheon Passers. This was a match that I covered on my channel here. A lot of snakes on both sides. However, the Rebellious Scions got the worst end of it as I watched it happen. And Pantheon Passers, came out clean and, only lost, I believe, a loner in that one. So, looking a little bit stronger at the end of it all. Commune Consulting versus Fell with Cotadal. This is another one that was covered on my channel. The 1-4 win. Fell with Cotadal had their way with these Kimray players. Started off with the successful red die blitz on the ball carrier and quickly scored and snowballed from there. They did pay the price in the form of missing next games. They lost the 3 players for their next match. But other than that, nothing real permanent. So Elves have to be very happy with that match result up against this beefy Kimray team. Farm Animals got the 2-0 win over Please Don't Murder Me, where Chabsu broke Luke Sama's players and his spirit a little bit. 13 blocks were succeeded, and if you compare the number of blocks here to the other High Elf coaches, this is definitely on the low side. You want to try and equalize, as an Elf team, you're playing the Agi game, but you also have a whole bunch of Strength 3 players, and a Strength 4, and I think some Guard too. So you certainly can punch back, and it's important that you do punch back, if not just to protect yourself, but to also, put your opponent on the back foot and maybe get a lucky removal or two. But 11 removals out of 28 blocks is also a bit of a statement in itself from Chabsu. Scooby and the gang took the 2-1 win over Lebowski Urban Achievers. Rough start for Sherdog's team. They did acquire a player from the market, but he was not able to swing the match. And this was a late touchdown from Sherdog. This match was streamed on Sherdog's channel if you wanted to catch that one. Moving on, Murder's Row got the 1-2 loss to The Secret of My Success. Rusty Seabutter got the win there. I did cover this match live on the recap yesterday. If the match is still available... Not. Damn it. Sorry, Rusty. I will try and make this up to you guys, both Rusty and Doc M. Like I said, I covered this match live, but... because the VOD's no longer available, I cannot cover it again tonight. Blame Twitch. I'm sorry. But the recap of how this match went, I can explain this much and what the takeaways were for both of you. Early on the start, so Necro won the toss, and the Doc M elected to receive the ball first. In the first turn, they did not use their Claw Mighty Blow to go after an Orc. Instead, they used Piling on White and didn't get anything really out of it. The response from Rusty Seabutter for the rest of the half was, okay, I have more guard and more strength. I'm just going to base you up everywhere across the pitch. And that's exactly what he did. And this forced a ton of 1-dies and just, half measures from Doc M. He really didn't even get the Mighty Blow Claw Werewolf working for a lot of the match, or for a lot of the game. And when, at the end of it, he turned over and Rusty Seabutter was able to score. Second half, Rusty again scored because it was his drive. And then Doc M started playing the Necro way to play against Orcs. And he set up very aggressively on the second reception and, set up for a Frenzy 2-die block with Claw Mighty Blow, got some removals, and kind of took things from there to get that one score. So I recognize that Doc M adapted to the Orc play, but he should have been playing that way from the start. So hopefully if he gets another AV9-like strength guard team in the future, he knows how to play against it. But yeah, a lot of reliance on this block Dauntless player who didn't really do much. Moving on to not FDA approved versus Cheese Tactics Mark II. This one was a draw. This one was also streamed. Poor old Cheese, unable to get the win here despite having some good removals. He really, really wanted to go after Super Dragon 6000. I believe he did get the Apo used on him, but not quite successful in his campaign. Super Dragon 6000 still alive and well. 30 blocks there. So yeah, like I said before, comparing that to what Luke Sama is doing, you got to be able to block more. And that is it for the end of the round. Unfortunately, because it is no longer Wednesday, some of these matches did get played today. I won't go into detail on these things, but it does affect the leaderboard a little bit. At the start, though, of the week, we were recognizing that a couple of the elves were off to a good start. Pantheon Pastors, Felth Doll, not FDA approved, was a draw. Chapsu, of course, was on top, and he continues to be on top at this point in time. We're waiting to see what's happening right now in this match with Travel Scrabble and where's Spoony? And Spoony, to see if Travel Scrabble also continues up top. And we don't have a match time yet for Rusty Seabutter's game, but we'll be looking forward to that as well. So, quick team review. The team I looked at, if I recall, was Luke Sama's team. And we just wanted to kind of take measure of where we were at. I know we were feeling a little bit dejected after our first match, but the reality is the team's in great shape. You've got a ton of stat ups. The Agi 6-piece is healthy, only movement busted, but not niggled or anything. And yes, he's a long way away from Blodge or Raj or whatever you plan on going with him, but he's still got a very effective role, and that is as soon as the ball gets loose, he goes and recovers it and takes it from there. This guy did, in fact, get niggled, and that's a little bit of a bummer. He is your tackle strip ball player, so he's also got leap. He's your main threat on the ball. And having that niggle will be a bummer as you go through the season, but you just need to start building up that next one. And the linemen are all actually doing pretty solid as well. 3 guard there. So yeah, considering that you've got 3 guard and a strength 4-piece, you need to make sure you're trying to get somewhere in the vicinity of 20 to 40 blocks a game. Anything less than 20 and you're really not fighting it out. I would even argue that you should be shooting for about 30 blocks, to be honest. And fresh blitz are coming up, so team's very healthy. High TV. Certainly not out of it at this point in time. Got that Wizard Stadium still going for you. 18, 11, and 24. You still, in my opinion, though, need to drop that reroll. I don't think you need 4. Your team is well developed enough to get away with not having that, and that would make you just a little bit trimmer. So, predictions for this week. You can't fact check me, but I predicted Stouticus to win this one. I predicted, well, let's just skip over those ones. We're going to talk about them next week. I predicted Spoony to win this one. I predicted Pantheon Passers to get the best of Murder's Row, and I predicted Rusty to get the best of Lebowski Urban Achievers. But there were already a couple upsets this week, so cool. That's going to do it for Div 3. Let's go ahead and move on to Division 2. Week 1. Shiggy is out for the week and potentially out for this week as well. He's moved into a new property, having some internet service provider issues, and has got the request out for that, and he's also looking for other alternatives. But at this point in time, we really wouldn't have anybody to replace him anyway. And so we're keeping his spot until he can provide or make it, and play his games. But that is a default win there for Sauce and the Nurgle FTDs. 2-0 win for Chaos Abulu over Puckstop, and this match was a brutal one. It's on Chaos Abulu's channel. I gave him plenty of crap about it, and keep meaning to make a special GIF to commemorate this game. But head on over to Chaos Abulu's channel if you want to watch this game, and yeah, there's a beating there on those chorfs. Ace Trucking Company got a 2-2 draw against Lords of Decay. Unfortunately, Quicks was not able to really get through this incredible amount of Skaven. Only 2 injuries inflicted. Lots of KOs on 63 blocks, but if you get 63 blocks, you want there to be some damage to show for it. And so at least Imai gets away with another match of, well, just a pounding, really. He gets away with a pounding without any real damage. Non-anime sports team gets the 2-1 win over the Dracwald Day Laborers. Moniker out-elfed by the resident elf of Division 2. Arch off to a great start, out-blocking these humans significantly, and that is not how the humans need to play against the elves. They need to play the bashier side. They need to control the match, pretend like they are orcs when they play up against high elves, and they weren't able to do it today. Pretty much always on the back foot there. Live Tree or Die Hard got the 2-0 win over the High Flyers in one of the last matches of the week. Duberman loves to play on Wednesdays, so if you got to play Duberman, make sure you get to him early. But Duberman is styling and profiling. His team is in great shape, good war dancers. One thing he's really lacking are some super developed catchers. The start of the season is always Duberman's best, so I predict he will have a tear to start this division out, at least for the first probably 4 to 6 weeks, but we'll see. Le Gland Bleu versus your Lizard Airy. We see a nice result. To be fair, this 3-2 score doesn't quite do justice to what happened on the pitch, and this match was also streamed. I believe it was streamed anyway. But Sakari was not in the best of shape coming into this match. He has 1 tackle Saurus and no Mighty Blow Saurus. So not really equipped to deal with super developed wood elves. And there's a war dancer here. So this war dancer, Camric, and the one play that kind of sums up the whole game. Camric's war dancer with Mighty Blow, or Camric the war dancer with Mighty Blow, is super forward in the pitch and pressuring skinks and punching skinks and knocking them out. And this is requiring a split in the lizard forces. So some of the Saurus go to deal with this war dancer. Some of the Saurus are with the Croxagore on the line of scrimmage, taking down the tree and punching some elves over there. And the other war dancer is just deep in Thessa's backfield. And it's a plus movement war dancer. Well, the skink runs away from this dancer, and it's deep in his own pitch, thinking that he's perfectly safe. Unfortunately, he didn't even really screen off the other dancer. He runs from downtown, makes the 2 GFIs all the way across the pitch like lightning, 11 squares, gets the sack, which inevitably a couple turns later leads to the first touchdown of the game. So rough match there. This also included a blitz for the Wood Elves. The fact that it ended at 3-2 is actually a pretty good testament for Zukari there, but it could have been much worse. It could have been a 4-0 game at one point. And there was a dead Saurus, unfortunately, as well, very early in the match, which put Zukari on the back foot. Moving on, Tooth and Fist versus Fear and Bloating. The Red Joker got the draw against Tooth and Fist, and this was kind of one of the more standard and I would say slower paced matches of the week for the division. Probably the most boring in the sense that it was 8 turns down the pitch one way and 8 turns down the pitch the other, and just kind of your standard. Nobody took too many big risks. Nobody got too big of results. And, you know, a couple injuries traded back and forth there. Nurgle trying to get as many blocks as possible. So, taking a look over at the next week. Again, matches already played, which is going to affect the leaderboard here. But Chaos Bulu actually did. I predicted Duberman would win, and Chaos Bulu got the win there. So we'll talk more about that next week. That match, of course, was streamed on his channel as well. So if you want to catch that one, head on over there. Other predictions, well, guess what? High Flyers, you're going to get a bye week, which will get you back in the running after your week 1 loss. Lords of Decay versus Fear and Bloating will be an interesting game. Nurgle have some skills that can mess with Skaven if they get a little careless. So we'll see how that one pans out. And Team Street Crew version 4 versus Tooth and Fist. This is going to be just an uphill season. Tooth and Fist are going to have the easiest time against a Chorf team that they could have imagined after TeamSpeak Crew got the Dead Bull Centaur. So, and a blocker as well. So he's down a blocker for this match, and a rookie Bull Centaur is probably the priority for Puckstop, just leveling up that Bull Centaur, even at the cost of the game. I would just try and focus on getting that bull up. Nurgle FTDs versus the Glam Blue. This is going to be absolutely the match of the week. This is a rematch from last season. 2 teams that were in the playoff hunt in Division 4 and will be in the playoff hunt in Division 2 for sure. So I'm looking forward to that. Team review, I believe I looked at... Well, I showed the damage, I believe is what I did, which would have been TeamSpeak Crew version 4. They lost a lot. I believe it was 200 SPP at least between these 2 players that are dead. So yeah, focusing on an entity version 3 should be your #1 priority. No Hobgoblin levels to speak of really either, so it's going to be rough. But you're going to probably want to carry on them and try and keep the way clear. Good luck. Finally, we have Division 1. So let's go ahead and take a look at where... Oh, good. No matches have been played. Division 1, the slow division. It's hard to imagine that the mighty have fallen so hard. Division 1 used to be the one that set the pace for every other division in the REBBL. So, where are we at? Brody Greens versus Tribu Urbana. Tribu Urbana got picked apart. They came into this healthy with lots and lots of players looking to get some wins. And they are a lot less healthy after Lazarus Diggs really dismantled the team. The first half, Brody Greens were doing the strongest and most durable of cages. And in fact, I think it was like a 9-man block of cheese at one point. But Hipster was unable to get the ball loose, and they scored while slowly picking apart elf after elf after elf. Second half, the elves started with 6 players. They did not go for the fast score. They tried to stall it out. And again, the numbers of elves went lower and lower and lower until finally it was nothing but disturbing presence and tentacles everywhere. Despite pulling off a 5+ pass and a 4+ catch, they still weren't able to score. And that led to the Tribu Urbana losing 0-2. This match replay was streamed, or not the replay, the actual live game was streamed on Sace's channel. But yeah, Sace does not hold back in his opinions of that game. Prona Party versus the Pastry Pests. 2-3 win. Pastry Pests take this one down. And this was even more brutal than the Hipster game, if I'm being honest. At one point, well, for the last, I think, 6 turns, it was simply elves standing up, and the Pastry Pest Storm Vermin repeatedly going for blitzes. Cinnamon Rochilla getting casualties again and again and again. Just a brutal display. And these casualties were not all very gentle. We had a kill, we had a niggle, we had, I believe, 1 other perm and some missing next game. So Prona Party is looking worse for wear, and a little bit worried considering the Skaven were supposed to be one of the softer targets in Division 1. So, yeah, you do feel a little bad for Soul, knowing that that was a squishy match. Oil Miners took a 2-2 draw against Rats Off to You. This one was streamed on Golgothan's channel. By the way, the Pastry Pest Pro and Party game was streamed on Lumi's channel. So Golgothan streamed this one, and again, it was a little bit of back and forth. The one-turner still doing some good one-turner things, I believe. Take a look at the SPP here. Yeah, I believe that was the Gibbons the second is the one-turner on that team. Yeah, you know what? See if I'm a liar. Yeah, Gibbons second. So he did get a touchdown. Sitting at 222 SPP. Excuse me. Gary Friendly almost died. Again, it's like his 5th time of almost dying. He gets more Apo rights than any line rat in the history of the game ever. But Oil Miners put on a pretty powerful performance there to get that draw. 28 armor breaks out of 34 blocks, putting in the fouls. 13 removals. That is a statement. Straight up Flatulence and the Animal Farm kicked off the division with the 1-1 draw. However, it was bloody. There were deaths on both sides. Stubings, though, clearly got the worst of the casualty rules and was limping away from this match, while Animal Farm, you know, it's just another day in the office for Sace. Skanky Island boys lost 0-2 against the Necronomics, and this was a rematch between the first place and second place team of Div 1 last season. And similar to last season, Necronomics had their way with these lizards. It's kind of the expected way that this goes. However, what's not expected is the lizards getting 56 blocks to the 37 of the Necronomics and still not really being able to come away with a score. So yeah, that one feels bad for Wave, but can't be too surprised. 20 Cricket's team is kind of designed to destroy lizards. And he has a history of doing that quite well. Just ask Eisen Mike about that 4-0 win a couple seasons back. Iron Man got the 1-0 win over the Booze Crews, and Gengar had... This was a rematch from last season as well. This happened in Div 2. It was a draw last time around, and there was finally a death on Iron Man's team, but it's just a skeleton. No big deal. There'll be another. Trading blocks back and forth, but the removal game went in the favor of Gengar, and Dwarfs just weren't able to get their little feet into the end zone. Finally, we have New Year's Norse taking on Gloom and Zoom. That is a 0-2 result for Gloom and Zoom. And this one was bloody as well. Just a really rough start getting that REL 1 welcome on. But the injuries here, there was a death, 3 injuries inflicted on the New Year Norse. But what's not here in the stats is a kill by Surf. Gloom and Zoom and Fiction were a little bit careless with their Strength 4, Agi 4, Sure Hands, Blodge, Ghoul. And that carelessness cost them severely, getting that death by a Surf. So well done, Ornan, there. You may have took the loss, but you did the greater good for REL 1. I think all the other coaches owe you a beer for that one. I don't know if there was actually a bounty on that piece, so you might want to check the bounty board. Somebody did comment and ask me about that, but that was a big removal. Was it Fiction that said he was going to bounty that? I think that was one of Fiction's things that he said he was going to, or not Fiction, sorry. Rumblebee. Rumblebee said in the opening cast that he was going to bounty that Ghoul. So, Ornan, you gotta go after that guy, because that Ghoul is dead. And we'll next time we get Rumblebee on the cast, we'll hold him to that and try and see if he can even remember what it was he said. So, where we stand for week 2, what's coming up, what are the big matches? Again, New Year's Norse are not in the best of shape. I expect Gorilla Grains to win this one as well. Norse certainly do have some tricks up their sleeve, and we witnessed New Year Norse in the Open Invitational take it to a more developed Nurgle team. So they know how to do it, but who knows if they'll be able to pull all that magic off. Gloom and Zoom versus Iron Man. Speaking of magic, will Fiction Magic be able to take on Iron Man? Considering that we're probably going to lose a werewolf because of their injuries and that Ghoul is gone, this is technically the quote-unquote weakest that Gloom and Zoom has ever been. So their work will be cut out for them with Gengar. who doesn't really care much for Magic. You're going to get stomped in the head either way. My prediction here, though, is that Iron Man does win this one. Booze Cruise versus Sneaky Island Boys. Motley is very well versed at playing lizards, and his team is fairly equipped to do it. The downside is he doesn't have a lot of the positional dwarves, which tend to do a lot of the winning, versus the lion dwarfs that kind of hold the match in place and kind of get some removals. So while the Sneaky Island Boys are not in the best of shape, I still predict them to get the win this match. Necronomics versus Straight Up Flatulence. Stubbings is just flat out not in a position to win this match. His legend is going to be missing for the game, and I believe he's just going to be really low on Claw Mighty Blow. So while this would have been a more interesting match had he not suffered, if this was, a week 1 match, for example, I think for sure this one's going to Horny Cricket. Animal Farm taking on the Oil Miners. Pig Sofa bringing the Death Roller to Sace. Sace is a little weaker after that match against Stubbings, but I think Sace has it in him to take this one down. However, this would probably be what I would call a trap game for Sace, and he tends to throw those away. So I'm going to call it a 1-1 draw if I'm predicting this one. Rats Off to You versus Pro in a Party. We are looking for a easier time for Soul in this match. However, it's not that different than the Pastry Pest, so Pro in the Party needs to try and get some removals on the rats themselves before they get entirely pitch cleared. Pastry Pest versus Tribu Urbana, the back-to-back Pro Elf games for Lumi, getting a nice, soft, squishy start, beefing up those Storm Vermin. That's got to feel nice. I would have liked Hipster to have played this game with a full team, but as it is, I believe he's going to be missing some elves, and it's gonna have to go to Lumi. It's gonna have to go to Lumi. He just looked way too good against the Pro Elves last week. Let's go ahead and pop in and take a look at team. I honestly cannot remember who it was I looked at yesterday, but talking about it, I would like to look at Lumi's team and where they're at. Oh, I think it was Soul. I think we looked at Soul's team, so maybe we'll do that too. But we did get the level up on Cinnamon Rochilla, 10 SPP last game. He hasn't rolled it yet, which makes me nervous. That makes me think that this is going to be Claw. Maybe it wasn't Claw and he's just deciding on whether he wants Pro or Juggernaut or Frenzy or something, or if he's going to re-roll the player. I don't think he's going to re-roll the player. I think he got plenty of work done. It's probably Claw, but if it's not Claw, then I would go Juggernaut, personally speaking. I'm well over getting Pro on a killer at this point. I'll tell you what it's not, though. If it's a double, it's not going to be Jump Up. That would surprise me. And this is probably going to be a dirty player rat, since there is not a dirty player on this team. He has a little itty bitty bit of a bench, and in fact, I would like him to pick up another bench. This could be the season of the Pastry Pest, boys. This could be the season. It's looking really good. The one-turner is in natural territory now with that sprint. Just probably one game away from getting sure feet. Seeing where he can go from there. And the ball sacker is, well, niggled is, or not niggled, movement busted is fully functional and capable. And this one's going to be leveling up to replace him. We'll see. We'll see how Lumi goes, but in my opinion, looking really well. And the fact that he's sitting on 1620 TV with all this development is crazy. His opponent this week, hop in and take a look at that. Definitely on the second page. Tribu Urbana, what do you got going on this week? Just missing a guard and a dodge and meat. So nothing too essential for this game. You're still going to have at least one guard on the pitch. And got Mighty Blow. You can punch some rats. It's not entirely a lost cause. It could be a nice shootout too. So that'll be an interesting game to watch. I'm expecting Tribu Urbana to get a wizard for that as well. Throwing a party, they are the ones that are much worse for wear. Missing 3 next game, and I believe these are some lasting wounds. Let me check this one here. Not just MNG. Not bad. About this one. That's a nickel. That hurts. Niggled AV7 is still, you know, not the end of the world, but it's going to matter in Div 1. So, good luck with that. But, yeah, that is it for the... Well, let's check the leaderboard. No surprises here. And, in fact, I said this yesterday as well. There are so few surprises in this leaderboard that I would not be... Well, this is probably the only real, quote-unquote, surprise. But Horny Cricket, Fiction, Lumi, and Gengar, I think, are almost like a guarantee to be in the playoffs. I think that these four are pretty solid picks. Motley would be the one that I would expect to maybe take Lazarus Dig's spot, but again, his team is really not in great shape. Wave, again, personally capable or fully capable of doing it with this team, but eventually the attrition is going to catch up to this Lizard team, and when it does, they are going to be feeling it and sore. I don't know, maybe one of the Pro Elves can slip in there, but it'll be tough. It'll be tough, especially as good as Lumi's team's looking. Yeah, I don't know. But that does it. This has been your super duper double time speed recap. Again, I'm disappointed in Twitch, but I'm also mad at myself for not contingency planning around Twitch fucking up. Just doing the recordings. So I'll do that going forward. I will try to still do the live matches. I know people like having the live, or sorry, not the live matches, the live recaps. I know people like having the live recaps because it gets it out faster. But when Twitch is going to do that kind of crap, I don't know. Don't know. We'll see. We'll see. But anyway, this is going to be going up Thursday night. My match for Reality Kings is going to be happening tomorrow, which is Friday. I believe we're shooting for around 5 or 6 Pacific PM between Hindi and myself. So if you love seeing me salted, you will want to check that out. I'm Superfed TV. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks for playing in REBBL, guys. Sorry that this didn't work out, but we'll get it better next time. Have a good one.